got the wonderful brand new mayor of Salem, Julie Hoy, and Soraida Cross, city councilor for city of Kaiser. So thank you, ladies, for being here. The 50-hour challenge is going to be fun, and it's an opportunity for all of us to share perceptions and learn from each other about addressing homelessness and our houseless brothers and sisters. And so for the city of Salem, Julie, what's the city's role in the challenges of homelessness, and what are some things the city is doing right now, the city of Salem?
Well, Dan, was on council for 2.5 years. I've been mayor for about a week and a half, and it really feels great. I'm super excited. Mostly, I'm excited about the collaboration that's in process with the county. We're going to really be taking a look at our roles as entities and what it is we can do to help each other, to help those who need the help the most. So I'm excited. I just feel so much hope.
The exciting part of that is it just makes sense that the city and county would be linked up.
Absolutely.
And you, in a week and a half, have strengthened that tremendously
with
the county.
Absolutely. I've been going to, in the last couple of years, just about as many, if not more, county meetings than I have city meetings, to try to understand what we're missing. You know, what are we missing out on by not being and operating in a spirit of cooperation? So, yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. There's some of the stuff happening in Kaiser too. Soraida, just an update on your perspective.
Well, I have a couple different perspectives just from working in the city of Salem and being in the midst of all of it, that I want to be a good partner and a good community member. And as far as being a city councilor, I'm super excited that I'm now the voting member for the Mid-Willamette Valley Homeless Alliance. That's one of my committees now. So
Yay!
Just to be able to be on that with Julie and Danielle and give different, have different fresh voices is going to be great and exciting.
Yeah, that's cool. That partnership with the county is also a partnership through the Homeless Alliance with all of the providers and agencies and Union Gospel Mission as well. Everybody's at the table.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen that in a while, like we're seeing it now. So thank you for that fresh.
You know a lot about that, Dan.
A little bit,
Yeah. So I'm sure that, it'll be like, ding. Hey, Dan, give me that wealth of knowledge.
Oh, no.
Because anybody that's watching, what'd you do, 8 years? As a counselor?
No, only 12. But
I shortchanged him. 12 years.
Oh my gosh.
But, so homelessness is a tough subject.
Yes.
And it's one that's prevailing throughout our community. Have you learned, and I have, but some of the misunderstandings of homelessness, like whose fault is it, or what do I do? It's the problem's so big.
Right.
I mean, what are some of the? How would you address somebody who had those perceptions?
Well, I feel very strongly about what I call maybe the root of the problems, or the issues that we're facing. Like, what is at the center of this? Why are we experiencing such great number? And I think, I know you know all this. I'm preaching to the choir, but homelessness is a broad spectrum issue. There are folks in all various forms of need, and how the pathway to that place of difficulty is also varied. Not everyone is addicted. Not everyone is dealing with mental health issues, or some combination of the two. But I think a good number are. And as the county is developing, Marion County is developing its resources for serving that population, we have a lot of things to examine, look at, so to find the pathways to get to that person in the center of their being and help to understand who they are and how they got there and how we might best serve them to draw them up and out of that place.
Sure. Just the offer of walking alongside of people is tremendous.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do that when you're driving around, what you see on the street that's not the total reality, is it?
No.
There's at Union Gospel Mission, we're feeding, housing in safe location with counseling, with our chapel. I believe that Christ transforms lives, and we share that voluntarily. But in fact, it's not one or two things either, is it?
No.
It's that they're addicted or they had a bad childhood. It's you start listening to the stories and you find out how blessed you are, but then how that's intended to bless somebody else.
Yeah.
We weren't given our gifts for ourselves. We were given our gifts to give them away.
Yes, sir.
And so I think you're absolutely right. The biggest challenge with homelessness is it funding? Is it involvement? Is it just getting more housing built? Does that solve homeless?
Your answer?
Well,
I don't think so.
I think that we need to try something different. Okay, what we've been doing isn't working. So I am very hopeful that maybe this new team of Mid-Willamette Valley Homeless Alliance committees, that we're going to put all our thinking caps on, and it's kind of like whoever built the first boat. I'm sure that boat was built a couple times. I'm sure Noah's Ark didn't just go out there with all the 2x2s. It took a while, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
We're going to get there.
Gosh, it just sounds like it's 90% attitude. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
We're going to get there.
Yeah.
We're not there yet, but we'll get there.
An elected official said a couple of years ago, said, hey, it took us 20 years to get into this problem. It's going to take us 20 to get out.
No,
I don't think so.
No, not necessarily.
No.
No.
Just looking at you.
Yeah. I mean, if
Let's work
Right?
faster and harder.
Faster and harder.
yeah, I mean, if that's what you say it's going to be, then maybe it will.
Yeah.
But that's not the story I'm telling.
Yeah.
Once upon a time.
Yeah. Dan, some people call the two of us fire and gas. And sometimes we switch. It's just.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, you're keeping us warm.
There you go.
I mean, who would have thought?
Yeah. Right.
So how can the community help and support your efforts at both city councils to address homelessness? What if you could ask for people to get involved and do something? What would it be?
Right. Wow. Well, one thing that came to mind as you were asking that question, Dan, is just and I believe attitude is a lot of it toward reaching a resolution or a solution, or some solutions that are working for more people. But I really do believe that we have to have accountability attached to the services that we provide. Not only accountability, but the expectation of contribution to society. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about the things that we do to make our world and our Salem a better place. So I'm not. If that didn't answer that question, please ask it again. But
Just what can people do to get involved?
What can people do? Yeah. Well, it's show up and come down here. Bring socks. Get yourself a cup and contribute to the work that Union Gospel Mission's doing. I mean, I've stood inside the building down there, and I have looked out at the city, and I've felt what it feels like to be in that space. And I just can't tell you how much it warmed my heart to know that real work is being done in people's lives in that building, in that space. So get involved, volunteer. I mean, my husband and I happen to own a restaurant. When we have a catering and there's too much food, we ring that bell at the back of your building and hand it out because we don't want anything to go to waste.
So what's this restaurant's name?
Oh, it's called Geppetto's.
Geppetto's.
Yeah.
Where?
It's out on Lancaster, Northeast Salem.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's a great place to go eat. It sounds like
It is a great
good
place to go
value.
eat, actually.
I just want to make sure I know where I'm going.
Well, it's my home away from home. So,
You're a small business person.
yes, sir.
You've seen the ravages of homelessness in the community.
Yeah.
But you've got an aggressive, we can figure this out attitude.
Yep. It doesn't have to be like this, and we're capable of better and greater things, and addressing and engaging with our houseless brothers and sisters, I think, is a first step. But also, we've had to work hard to protect our business from not the people so much as the circumstance. We have customers. We need to have customers, or we don't have a business. And we have worked hard to keep folks in need, to meet them, to move them along, to offer them services, whatever it is, so that our patrons can come in and dine. And it's been a long road the last 7 years in that business, especially the last 4. I've met a lot of folks in need right out front, and I've offered help, I've offered a ride, I've offered to call, and folks are just in a lot of different level areas of need, and also differing desires to do something about it. Right? Some don't want to do anything, and I wish that they all wanted to go to your place, because I know that real help and real work is getting done there. Does that make sense to you?
Well, thank you. You guys are both small business leaders. Am I saying that right? Not government employees. So you're bringing that perspective to the fight, and that's small business, practical, pragmatic solutions so that the businesses and people can thrive.
Yes.
So I hadn't really realized that until just a minute ago, but you're now in the fight, and I sense that's something that maybe we didn't have as strong before. And that's and a lot of agencies involved, but it takes all of us to be able to be engaged.
It really does. And I believe you could throw all the money in the world at it and not make progress if you don't get to the root of what's going on inside that person, and how to meet them where they're at, literally.
And we're all at a different stage in our lives, the way that the Lord's laid it out for us, and it's just really cool to be able to see people 2.5 years later, instead of in the despair that they were in, gleefully attacking life again, renewed.
Isn't that wonderful?
And transformation through Christ is the reason for that. But that's, people make that voluntary decision to do that. And so it takes all of us, though. It takes mental, emotional, addictions, victory over addiction, not counseling, victory over addictions, and God to bless our time and effort. And it's one person asked me, how many times can people sort of come into your program and then relapse and then come in and relapse, 70 times 70.
Yeah, right.
We never give up, and we're glad that you aren't either. You're in the fight now, so welcome.
Thank you.
I love it, and I think that she has Facebook pages and she does newsletters, and we'll be watching things like what's happening over at the Capitol, and I think there's some interesting things that I think a bill that Mannix is putting in, and we can put it out there about some people that they're not okay to be on the streets. Right. They need some help, and hopefully they'll figure out what that looks like. That we can have them get help.
Well, it's a great opportunity to get involved and look up on Representative Mannix's webpage,
but to
see what he's trying to do.
I think that's what people can do. We can be a Monday morning quarterback and say, I could have done that better, or we can be in the fight. We can be in the fight and we can learn. Like I can know that UGM doesn't get $1 of tax money. is self-sufficient. So
We're
I
blessed
can
because of you folks
I can
giving.
say this is a myth and this is a fact.
Yeah.
Well, it's a 50-hour challenge, and we're hoping to work ourselves out of a job.
Yeah,
There you go.
I gotta
Next
go.
couple
I
of
gotta go
years.
get my $100 on the first
Me
because
too.
I like this cup.
Me too.
That is just not any ordinary coffee
No,
cup. It's
it's
a
not.
mug.
No, it tastes better, and I
It's
don't
a
even
mug
like.
made out of stone. So
Yeah. Well,
we
you're
like things that are
you're
solid
a rock,
and
Dan.
long-lasting.
Yeah, I
So,
love that.
Well, we're blessed to have you guys with us today. You know, we just I want you to know we pray for our leaders.
Well,
And
that is working. I believe that is working. In the last week and a half, I have felt God thread the needle so many times and been so encouraged. And I was back in Washington, D.C. last week for the U.S. Conference of Mayors. And just learned a lot. The connections you make, you know, that I didn't see coming, that may very well be helpful with what we need to do here.
Yeah.
You know, so I see God working in all of that. And you know, it's my faith, Dan, that that tells me that anything is possible.
Faith over fear.
Yes, indeed.
with God, all things are possible.
Yep.
Well, we're just thankful that you're here with us today, and I know you've got another engagement to go to.
Oh, can I add one more thing?
Yeah,
All
keep
right.
adding.
Because there's such a thing as just such a time as this. And I believe that the city council that's in place at this moment is really special. And we are going to get things done. And we're going to do it together as a unified body. And now next week, we're going to meet with the county commissioners as unified bodies to address not only this issue, but other issues as well. All the circumstances around it. The people deserve to be served well.
My time on council was precious when the county and the council did a lot of stuff together. And it's good to have that back.
I love that.
Yeah.
If this was a cartoon at Disney, maybe there'd be little hearts floating out of my. I'd be like, look at the hearts.
Well, we're thanking the Lord for you two characters.
Right back at you.
Just thankful that we know that our passion is one to help save lives. And what other cause is even more important than that?
Yeah.
Nothing. At the
No.
end of the story, we'll be tired and exhausted, and we'll be out of a job, and we'll be very
Beautiful. Yes, sir. I love
But
that.
the trees that we have planted.
happy. That's right.